Somebody out there is turned off by that. It's not me. I mean, the camera's here, so you wouldn't know, but... Hello, you dirty potters. How are you today? It's about that time again to start our Empty Bowls donations. Empty Bowls is a charitable program that a lot of ceramic artists enter into. Usually the food bank or the food closet of your city will hold on to these. I know LA has one, I know Sacramento has one, but essentially what happens is that a bunch of ceramic artists, i.e. me and you most likely, will make a bunch of bowls. They sometimes accept mugs and cups and whatnot, and will donate them to the food banks and food closets. They then sell tickets to this party in which people can pick out the bowls. So let's say the tickets are $10, $15. I don't really know because I've never paid for a ticket to go. And that money ends up going to a good cause to support some social service in the city. That is a tongue twister. The money goes to support a social service in the city. That was wild. It kind of depends on which city you are in. For example, I live in Sacramento, California, so mine usually goes to unhoused or homeless people in the city. A lot of that money goes to Loaves and Fishes, which kind of gives them some type of structure and gives them resources in a certain place in the city. So that way, they have shelter from certain things. For example, in Sacramento, it reaches like 110 in the summer. And if you're unfamiliar, Sacramento is a giant valley bowl, so the heat stays in. And we have a lot of trees, so we're very insulated with our heat. If it gets hot, it does not get unhot for a while here. And I know some of you might watch my channel to be happy-go-lucky pottery time, but the reality is some people do not survive out in those conditions. So as potters, I think it's important for us culturally and just socially to make the bowls, give them to charity. The charity does the good thing for our city, infrastructure helps a little bit, and also they throw one banger of a party. From my experience, they get all the bowls that were donated and just splay them out over one day. People take them, they replace them, people take them, they replace them with new bowls, and this goes on for quite some time. But in the background, on top of this, there's food, there's music, there's drinks in the background, there's little pottery stalls, people are selling their pottery. They make it a to-do in the city, they really do. And as an artist who donates more than like 10 or 15 bowls, but per person, at least per group, you get a free ticket to go to this event, and I think you get an add-on. At least the city that I'm in gives us an add-on. This also, on a channel level, gives us an excellent opportunity to experiment with shapes and colors and a bunch of different things and mason stains and things of that nature. So in today's video, we're gonna be doing a lot of experimentation, and there's some new stuff that I wanna show you that I've been working on. But before we get going, I just want to give a giant shout out to Clayscapes. Clayscapes is unknowingly sponsoring this video. I went to Ensika, shook some hands, had some dinner with some folks, and I got a bunch of glaze from them. I got so much so that I don't know what to do with all of it. So for this round of Empty Bowls, we're gonna be using only Clayscapes glazes. So big shout out to them. I will put their links down in the description below, and I'm pretty sure there's a little discount code down there that they gave me, a little secret there if you want some discount code. So just a little recap on what I've been doing in the studio. I essentially dropped a giant bag of mason stain into my porcelain reclaim and was like, no, what am I gonna do? But of course I'm not gonna waste product, you know, I don't wanna be unresourceful. So I decided to blend it up and just use it as is. It made this color of clay, and the clay next to it that you're seeing in that picture is my normal white porcelain, right? It usually fires out whiter than the clay is itself. That also goes for the opposite spectrum. I put the mason stain in the porcelain and it made a clay that looks like this, which generally fires out a bit darker than you think here. So when I made it, it looked like this. I ended up spiraling the porcelain and I guess black clay together just to see what it would make, and it looked okay at first. I was like, oh, that looks okay. Fired it all the way to cone 6, looks immaculate. Looks wonderful. I'm putting that on my website, earthnationceramics.com. But I figured out as an experimentation, I'm gonna keep on doing it. So today's video, we have that. It's a nice big block of clay. Just, you know, give it one of these. So I hope some of you right now are probably like, that was nowhere near 15 bowls. Don't worry, I kind of figured you didn't want to see me throw like 15 bowls all day for a YouTube video, unless it's a chill video. So I threw a bunch already without you. Don't worry, it's not cheating, it's just speeding up the process. Because we were gonna break up anyway. You can most likely tell I'm going for a specific shape. This time I'm really into this shape right now, which is kind of just like a V tapered bowl, but it leaves just enough room for your food to go in there without interrupting the sides of your spoon. So I'm super into this shape right now. The only difference is the ones we just threw have that marbleized clay body with that black clay. So we're gonna let that dry and see how it comes out. I am pretty happy with the way that these came out. If you look really closely, you can kind of see the marbleization that I was going for. I was talking about it earlier in the episode. But here's a little tester, just to make sure that I was getting the results that I wanted to get. I actually glazed some in the tester kiln just to make sure they would come out pretty good. And man, they're blowing my mind. These are beautiful. I might save some of these for my shop at earthnationceramics.com, but this pure cream white from Clayscapes, this beautiful marbleized black clay body, I'm super into it. And for those of you who have never seen cream from the inside, you see those little tiny specks right there. This is usually what happens to me with this glaze whenever I put it on any type of redstone or unclean clay bodies, something that's really the opposite of porcelain, to be honest with you. Okay, I think we're doing pretty good on the amount of bowls we have for the Empty Bowls project. I said I was gonna donate 15, and right here is 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? Sorry, old habit. I used to be into cheerleaders, but I'm reformed now, and I learned what thickness is, so don't worry, I won't relapse. I also have a few more bowls up here, which I will most likely glaze without you off screen. And not only do I have these, because I know that these are what we're making for Empty Bowls, these are the design that we're going for, but I also have like a bunch of these because I'm going to Sac Anime pretty soon, so it's not like I don't have extra work to give. But we have to concentrate on these for this episode, because if we don't just use Clayscapes glazes and the one bowl design that I'm into right now, then we're gonna go off on a whole rail of Amico glazes and a bunch of other stuff, and then you won't watch the other episodes because you have the attention span of a gnat. Okay, let's put these in the kiln. Okay, now that everything's out, let's take a look. So these are all the bowls that we've been practicing with, and they came out phenomenal. I'm extremely happy with them. Usually I use the Empty Bowls thing as like an experimentation, but these weren't really experiments. I kind of just glazed these with Clayscapes glazes, and then went, oh, these should be pretty good. And they came out really good. Of course, I made duplicates because I usually make my bowls in sets. So like this is a set of bowls right here, right? And then you come over here, and these two that have the same kind of dragon fruit texture, you can see that this is a little bit different from this right here. This is a little bit smoother. This has another brother bowl that it goes with. So this is a set right here. Oh, I'm so happy about these. And of course, we did make some other bowls that weren't that kind of tapered V bowl shape that we've been working on the entire video, so of course we made some normal bowls. These ones here are essentially the same exact technique that I'm using with the cream and an amalgamation of mason stain and marbleized clay body. The only difference is that they're very normal shaped. One thing I do want you to note, I'm not sure if you can see it, is I've kind of been edging my feet because someone told me it would make glazing way easier, and they were right. Instead of rounding my feet, I edge and then round them, so I can hold on to the smallest foot like this with 2 fingers relatively safely. And this is probably something I'll start teaching during my intermediate classes at IMCO, which I have become a teacher at now, essentially. But like this is just easier to glaze with. And if I make a super nice rounded foot, it would be difficult to grab onto it because there's technically no edge for the friction of my fingertips to grab onto. So I couldn't do this when I'm glazing and dipping and whatnot. I can only use tongs, which it seems like a small thing. It's actually super big pain in the butt to grab onto some bottom and then it just slips out of your hands. Pottery or otherwise. The thing with these normal type bowls is that they nest pretty well, so you can stack them in your cabinets just way better than you would the angled bowls, because the angled bowls, they come as a set, but they're enclosed, right? So these here have kind of an open mouth to where you can stack stuff in. These have essentially a closed mouth. You can't really do that with these. Well, that's about it for us today, Potters. I would show you some more, but realistically, like, the more is just more of the same thing that I've been showing you. I just have a larger pile of it over here because I usually promise empty bowls at least 10 to 15 bowls. I think that's their minimum requirement, is about 10 or 15 bowls. And so I essentially made 10 or 15 of the same thing. So if I showed you more, I would just be showing you more of these bowls that I've been using for practice. But I like these. I like these a lot. These are fantastic. I'm going to keep making these, and I'm probably going to put them on my website at earthnationceramics.com, which the next store upload will probably be close to a month out from when you're seeing this. Probably 10-1. Right now it should be like 9-1 or 8-1. I'm not sure. Whenever my editor tells me to do things. She's very demanding.
Thank you for your patronage.
She's like a mom who asks you if you want to take out the garbage later today, but like you know that wasn't a question.